Leave that door alone.
I'll do whatever I want.
It happens. Just watch
Enough,
where you're
damn
going
it.
next time.
You're mine.
Come on then.
It's William, right? I need to talk to you.
What is it? Do we know each other? Do I owe you money?
My name's Henry, and no, we don't know each other, and you don't owe me money. But we do have something in common. We have a lot of mutual friends.
What? What do you want of me? I don't have to talk to you.
You don't need to. I can go and chat with the guards instead. Tell them you're the one hurting those girls.
What? I don't have anything to do with any girls.
Really? You? A notorious skirt chaser? Do you think anyone will believe you?
I just got back to the city. I don't know what you're trying to pin on me, but whatever it is, I didn't do it.
But everyone remembers you. You better spit it out before someone points the finger at you.
Come on. All right then. Ask away.
Did you know Alice?
I know a lot of Alice's. You have to be more specific.
The one they found dead somewhere below the town walls.
Oh, her. I didn't know her, but I heard about it.
I heard she used to go to dances.
Yeah, and? I'm not the only musician in the city. I really didn't know her.
They say she had a rich young suitor. Do you know anything about that?
Me? Do I look rich to you? I get paid in food.
But you could at least pass yourself off as wealthy.
Or I could claim to be the Virgin Mary, but I doubt anyone would believe me.
And did you ever meet Yarka? It was a long time ago, but I heard she used to hang around you a lot. And Father Prokop didn't like it.
Oh, that one. Aye, she was very keen on my company for a while, but then she stopped coming.
Because somebody killed her.
I know what happened was a tragedy, but it wasn't my fault. She stopped talking to me long before that. Honest.
And did you know she was pregnant?
What? Yarka was... That's horrible. Who would kill a pregnant woman?
That's what I'd like to find out. What about the unwilling father-to-be? It wouldn't happen to be yours, would it?
What? Mine? I never even got under her skirt. We just flirted a bit, and then she stopped coming by.
And can you tell me anything else about it?
I don't know anything. It was a long time ago. You said so yourself.
And I hear you knew Stanya.
Which one do you mean?
The alehouse wench from the hole. I heard you had something with her too.
Well, she batted her eyes at me a couple of times when I was still playing there. A nice girl, but I didn't know her much.
And the innkeeper Mole told me a different story. He said you were the one coming on to her.
Fine, we had a bit of fun together. But she was always the one who started it.
And aren't you just saying that because she left you?
Oh, come on! I could have any woman, if I wanted. The innkeeper must have got it mixed up. He's an old drunkard after all. If I was you, I wouldn't take him too seriously.
And what about Zdena? You knew her, right?
Do I know Zdena? As wild as the wind and always full of life. And those nimble fingers. You always had to check your purse around her.
Did she steal something from you?
A traveling minstrel doesn't have much to steal, but she was well aware of that. She was on the lookout for some better prey.
You don't happen to know who she wanted to rob?
There were lots. Anyone she thought was rich enough who let her ply her charms for a while. Like young von Groller. When he started coming here, she got to him right away. Said she was gonna rob him blind. Far as I know, she didn't succeed. If she robbed a noble like von Groller, word would get around. Look, why are you asking me about all this? You don't seriously think I killed her, do you?
Well, you did know them all.
And? I'm surely not the only one.
That may be true. But everybody knows you're a skirt chaser, and they were all pretty girls. And now, they're dead.
But I had nothing to do with it!
Confess, or this won't end well for you.
What do you mean, won't end well?
If you come clean and get lucky, they'll hang you. If not, you'll get the rack. So, did you do it?
No, I didn't!
I don't believe a word you say, and I'll make certain you pay for your deeds.
You're out of your mind! I didn't do nothing to those girls. Nobody will believe you.
We'll see about that.
Excuse me.
Oh, it's just you, eh? Uh-huh.
I've heard some interesting things about...
Mole told...
That doesn't matter.
I made a deal with a few beggars. For a couple of groschen, I have them come into the tavern and act like they're telling me something incredibly important and secret. See, every man should be a bit mysterious. It makes us more attractive to women.
And I'm supposed to believe that.
You don't have to, but it doesn't mean it isn't true. Never mind.
I'm looking for someone named Stanya.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella. What would a woman be doing here?
But you know Stanya, don't you?
Aye. You could say that. Why?
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town. And I heard that someone also tried to kill this Stanya.
That's true. She told me something like that. But that was a long time ago.
So you don't know what became of her?
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know, how can I be sure You aren't that killer.
Lumir himself, the Kuttenberg bailiff's former scribe, gave me the task. He was looking into her disappearance, and he sent me to find her.
Well, I don't know. I remember Lumir. He was all right. That's all true, but...
But what? What are you still brooding over?
You seem like the right man for a job like that. Sorry, but after all that happened to Stanya, I like to be careful.
So Stanya is here?
Aye. She's hiding with us. Since that thing happened, she's afraid to even go outside. I don't know what to do with her anymore.
Can I speak to her?
If it'll help you. She's hiding in that cottage, but be nice to her. She's in a bad way. She used to be such a gutsy girl.
Till we meet again.
Come on now.
Excellent. Next time it'll be even better. Needs to simmer a bit longer.
Who are you? How did you find me? If you came here to finish what you started, I'm not afraid of you. I'll claw your eyes out.
Don't be afraid. Barton told me where to find you.
Barton sent you to me. What do you want from me?
Lumir thought you were dead. I was supposed to find out what happened to you.
Lumir? From the rat house. He sent you.
Exactly. Someone killed a girl in Kuttenberg. Lumir thought it might be connected with you, so maybe you could help us find out who did it.
How can I help you when I haven't been in Kuttenberg since... I don't even know when.
You disappeared from the hole in the wall without saying goodbye. Without a word. What happened?
Someone attacked me when I was coming home from the baths one night. I managed to get away, but I was so afraid, I decided to run away from Kuttenberg.
Did you see who it was?
Not at all. I didn't see anything until he jumped out of the shadows and grabbed me around the neck. And he was terribly strong. I nearly blacked out right away.
And how did you manage to break free?
I had an empty pitcher in my hand, and I hit him with it. He howled and let me go, and I ran away.
Here? To the charcoal burners?
No, first to my room in the hole. I was so scared there. I took what I could and ran. Here, to Barton.
And your lover? What did he say?
At first he was horrified, because I had cut myself on a shard from the pitcher and was all bloody. He's been hiding me here since then.
What was it like working in the hole?
Well, I earned a few groschen, that I did, but I often had to grit my teeth.
How so?
Every single day I had to put up with their lewd remarks. Rich or poor, everyone wants to grope a girl. People, well, us girls have to watch out. We can't just put up with it, and sometimes we have to be tough, especially in a place like the hole. But you can't overdo it either. That's no good.
How so?
Because if you smile at them nicely, then sometimes they leave a groschen, or even two. You have to keep a balance. To look friendly, but unavailable.
You said that rich or poor, they all like to grope girls. Like who?
Truth be told, the hole isn't exactly a good place for a rich man, but young von Groll used to go there for a while.
Is that so? Did he talk to you?
He smiled at me a lot, so I smiled back, but beyond a few groschen, there was nothing more to it. Then this thieving wench started hanging around him and... oh, it doesn't matter. But that servant of his didn't like it, tried to drive her away, and so the young lord stopped bringing him with him.
Von Grolla had a servant with him?
Aye, a pudgy fella, well dressed, but had a mean face. He never said a word or smiled, or even said thank you.
You walked home from the baths at night?
What's so odd about that?
Well, at night, the baths are...
Ah, right. I went there after closing. I always brought the girls a pitcher of wine or ale and took a bath while they drank it.
Ah. So that's why you had the empty pitcher you hit him with?
Right. I went there regularly, every week.
The same way every time?
Aye, always the same way. The shortest one. I didn't want to stay out too long at night.
And who knew that you went by yourself to the baths?
Well, everyone from the tavern, I reckon. I didn't hide it.
Why didn't you go back to the hole?
Just to get murdered there? Are you mad? I'm never going back there. Not until they catch him.
How are you now?
I'm still awful scared. I can't fall asleep knowing that, and I can't even really leave the house.
Do you remember anything important about the attacker? What he looked like? What he was wearing?
I don't know anything. It was at night. He grabbed me from behind, and then I ran and never turned back.
And what about when you hit him? What did he do?
He let me go and cursed.
Aha. And what did he say?
He said Scheisse in German.
Seems you're the only one to survive the killer's attack. I know it isn't easy for you to think about it, but try to remember something else about that moment, or when you were running away. Anything can help us, even if it seems insignificant.
I don't know. It's all like in a fog.
You were walking down the street. Did you notice anything before he attacked you?
No, nothing.
You didn't see anything or hear anything?
Actually, I knew the side street wasn't empty. I heard somebody talking, but when I looked, there was nobody there. So when somebody grabbed me, I completely froze.
Did you understand what they were talking about?
Not at all. But there were two voices. Two of them waiting for me there.
It's difficult, I understand. But I need you to think hard one more time. Aside from those voices and the empty street, what else do you remember?
I didn't hear him at all. And then he grabbed me.
And nothing else? Did he grab your hair?
Well, no. He grabbed me by the throat right away and squeezed. Just for a moment, but I still had a big bruise round my neck for weeks. Barton said the man must have had a terribly strong grip, like a miner or swordsman.
Couldn't it have been that innkeeper then? You yourself said he's a pig.
Aye, when he drinks, he turns into a total bastard. All lewd remarks and groping fingers. The lecher. Only when I got to my room, I could hear him snoring. It couldn't have been him.
Couldn't it have been Father Prokop?
Father Prokop? I don't know him.
Well, he's pretty old. He preaches in the Church of St. Peter and St. Paul.
I don't know him. And if he's an old man, how strong could his grip really be?
I heard William liked pretending to be a spy. Do you know anything about that?
Aye, I thought it pretty silly. A stupid trick to make himself seem more interesting. Though I reckon he's more likely to attract an ass-kicking than a woman.
I reckon that'll be all.
I'm sorry I'm not able to help you more.
You don't need to apologise.
Thank you. Could I ask you for a favour?
If it's in my power.
When you catch that bastard, would you please let me know? So I can finally stop being afraid.
I'll stop by if I can.
God be with you, sir.
What merry band is this? Who are you, my good man?
You sure you want to know? You might scarp her after I tell you.
Oh, why wouldn't I? You look well turned out.
We don't want you losing your head, though, do we? I'm curious. Who do you think I am?
Well, I'm guessing you're a noble?
Not a chance. But then again, I've got to know a few gentlemen up close and more than personally. Though our acquaintance was very brief and quite impersonal.
I don't know who you are, but I have heard that King Wenceslas used to walk among the common people, drinking wine and playing dice with them.
That's true. But now he's under lock and key and can count himself lucky they haven't shortened him by a head yet.
How would you know?
Because we haven't made his acquaintance yet.
I don't know. You don't exactly look like an angel of the Lord. I'd say you run more with the devil.
Oh, come on, I'm no devil. But I do arrange for villains to meet him. I'm an executioner. I was born Martin Brotzius, but everyone knows me as the Jester, because I reckon a joke never grieved anyone, and I say you can have a bleak calling, but a happy life. You're sure to get this one. What looks down from a height and twists and turns with the wind?
Looks down and twists and turns with the wind. A cat?
Why, Margrave Jobs, of course! Trims his sails to the wind. That one!
Well, having met the Margrave in person, I'd say everything will turn out for the better now, thanks to him.
Yeah, unless his dear uncle Emperor Charles turns in his grave first. But the golden days are long gone. Folk are becoming foolisher by the day, and I'm just waiting for them to start climbing trees naked and cackle like geese.
I better be going. Goodbye, Jester.
Farewell to you then, young man.
I bought a lovely yew-bow the other day for a great price. What good...
The bow to you, for God's sake. What a waste of money.
Did you hear that? The king himself announced that everyone should have a good bow on hand.
Which king would that be?
I don't...
Whoa, whoa.
Keep close to the others. It's not safe here.
Are you Pine?
I am. Why?
I'm looking for his Denner.
I don't know any Stenner.
Sternad said something different.
You're a friend of Sternard's, are you?
Ah, God forbid. That's all I need. A friend like that bastard. But he was the only one who really knew Denner.
You're right there. Stenner was always cursing him. He was as lazy as a pig, but always wanted his share.
So you knew Denner? Can you tell me anything about her?
I know Stenner all right, but she ain't been here in some time. Why are you looking for her? What do you want from her?
I'm looking for a... Back in the city, they think she's either dead or run off somewhere. And you're the last person to see her before she went missing.
Kurva.
What can you tell me about Zdenna?
She always had it hard. She lost her parents and her home as a child. She had to learn to take care of herself.
And what about Sternad? How does he fit into this?
Stennard was her guardian angel, as she used to say. If she hadn't been thieving with him, she probably would have ended up a whore. But by sharing with him, she could do what she wanted.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised she stuck with him as long as she did.
That's because she had a hideout somewhere nearby. That's why she'd come to me with her loot, before they taxed her on the spot. And the last time she was here, she said one more haul like this, and she'd be able to go wherever she wanted, to Prague or Vienna.
I heard she wanted to sell you some valuables. Is that true?
Oh, aye. She had a good haul. No rubbish. Mostly jewelry, rings, one signet ring with a coat of arms and everything.
She left it all here. I paid her a pretty sum of coin. It was a good thing she had a basket with her, otherwise she couldn't have carried it all.
And what about that signet ring? Do you still have it?
She didn't sell me the ring. She wanted to keep it. Said it'd bring her luck someday.
Do you know what kind of luck she meant? Did you recognize the signet on the ring?
No, I didn't recognize that signet. But all the while, Dana was giggling to herself. I reckon she had her eye on another mark.
Where did she go next from here? You said she had a lot of coin on her.
That she did. She also had a feeling someone was following her. Someone on a horse.
Someone followed her on a horse from Kuttenberg. Did she say what he looked like?
She didn't. At first, she thought it was some wealthy lord out for a ride. But he held back. Never passed by her and...
And did you see him? Did he come all the way here?
No. But Zdenna thought he would show. She even left her scarf here and paid some girl to walk around with it to make it look like she was still here.
And then where'd she go?
She wanted to go the back way, through the woods, so nobody could follow her. Past the woods is a road and a ford across a stream. Next to it is a huge boulder. When it rains, the water can rise fast. The road goes on to Kuttenberg.
Well, if it leads back to the road and there was really someone following her, I reckon if they saw she was long in returning, they could have waited for her at the ford, no?
Fuck! That's quite possible. I made a point of looking, but I didn't see any riders that day. So I forgot about it.
Is Denna's scarf? Do you still have it?
Aye. I wanted to give it back to her the next time she came.
Will you give it to me? I'll try having my dog track her down.
All the same to me. Here you go. But it's been a long time. I don't know if it will help.
And could it have been Father Prokop following her?
What do I know? If he has a horse and fancy clothes. But why would he do it?
I heard he wanted to find her an honest job, but she wasn't interested.
I don't know. She didn't say nothing about that.
And could it have been William?
And who would that be?
He's this bard she was seeing.
I don't know about that. I don't remember her mentioning nobody by that name.
Well, I'll go and check out that fort. Maybe I'll find something there.
I hope you don't. Farewell.
That has to be that fort Pike was talking about. I should take a look around here. This must be that basket of silver Zdenna was carrying with her. She wouldn't have just left that here. But where did it come from? Maybe it rolled down the hill? Search. Search. Poor thing. She didn't get very far. Ugh, she's been lying here a long time. At first glance, this body isn't as mutilated as the others. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody strangled her like the others. She's been lying here too long for that, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer hit her with a rock, or dashed her hard against the ground. She must have put up a fight. Or maybe he lost his patience. Oh, she's all stuck to her clothes. They're torn up, but I don't see any cuts. The rips are odd. Like someone was looking for something. Oh, I can't make much out by now, but it seems as if the fingers on her right hand are broken. Did the murderer torture her? Or was he trying to get something out of her hand? Oh, my God. Oh, something fell out of her. A signet ring. Oh, that must be the one she stole. How did it get inside her? Did she swallow it herself? Or did the murderer shove it in there? Was she trying to hide it? Or was it punishment for stealing? Well, that's enough. But what does it all mean? I'd say she put up a decent fight, and the killer had to improvise, and that's about all I can find out. She's probably been lying here a few weeks, but that ring is a good lead. Whoa, whoa! I wanted to ask about...
Ask away.
Well, I'll go and...
I hope you don't. Farewell.
You shouldn't be out here alone like that.
I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
I found out some interesting things about those murders. Just like you said.
That's wonderful news. But wait a while. I promised Catherine we'd wait for her.
You know Catherine?
She came to see me soon after you did, and started asking me questions. Just like you.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else shows up. How did it go?
I reckon I've found out all I can.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not exactly, but I have a few ideas.
I've asked around a bit, and I have my own suspicions.
Is that so? See, I was trying to recall some more details, and I had someone come to mind as well.
Oh, I didn't do all this for nothing, did I?
Well,
Catherine, who do you suspect?
Well, I think it was that priest, Prokop.
That's nonsense. It couldn't have been him.
Couldn't have? Then who do you think it was?
It had to be William. Nobody else knew them all.
God, now you're talking nonsense. I'm sure William is innocent.
So I see we disagree. Too bad. We could have been done with it quickly.
Well, who do you think it was then?
I'm not entirely sure. First, I'll tell you what I found out, and then it might be easier for us.
Go on then. Starting with who?
Let's talk about Yarka, the one raised by Father Prokop.
What did you learn about her?
Yarka started working for the von Grolle family, where she remained until her death.
I was there to ask whether she'd given them any trouble, but they said she was always thorough and reliable.
Ah, so what's the story with von Grolls?
A very wealthy and important family. The mother is quite devout, known to spend a lot of time in prayer. Old von Groller's been sick for years. Can't even get out of bed.
So, who runs affairs?
That would be young Hendel. They say he's quite successful.
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the goodness of his heart. He was actually her uncle.
Really? But he still could have killed her.
His own relative?
Why not? He's a priest. I'm sure he knows the story of Cain and Abel.
Prokop also admitted that he didn't know how to handle her, and perhaps he was too strict.
What do you expect from a Bible thumper? Man punishes and God forgives. It never occurs to them that if man didn't punish, God wouldn't have to forgive.
Well, maybe I wouldn't hold it against him. He really tried to make sure she was well taken care of. He wanted to find her a husband, too.
And did you learn who he found?
No. I think it fell apart when Yarka started rebelling. Before her death, I heard she often went to dances.
There's nothing wrong or surprising about that. But maybe she found someone there.
Maybe. Prokop was convinced that she went to see William. That was actually the only name he mentioned.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means she had some relationship with William, or at least knew him.
Prokop is convinced that she was murdered by that bard, William.
And I agree with him. I heard the daughters of important men come to see him. It even went so far he had to flee the city. And the moment he's back, there's another murder.
Really? But I found out you accused Prokop first, Lumir.
What? Why?
It doesn't matter. It was a mistake, and I paid for it.
And were you as sure then as you are now about William?
I don't think so. But Yarka spent her evenings out on the town, not with Prokop. Whoever killed her must have met her out and about.
But we can't possibly know that.
That's true. We've got little to grasp at. And now, most importantly, Yarka was pregnant when they killed her.
I didn't know that. Do you know for sure? So they gutted her?
To make it impossible to tell she was pregnant? I wouldn't be surprised.
May God forgive us.
Do you know who she was pregnant with? Because if we know who the father is, we'll likely know who the killer is.
She didn't tell Prokop.
It had to be someone from those dances. Maybe William.
That's all I was able to find out.
You still found out more than I did.
But it's not enough. We still don't know who the killer is.
But we can agree that she was killed because of her pregnancy, can't we?
Agreed. Somebody got rid of her to make sure nobody found out she was pregnant.
I'm sure William wanted...
William isn't the only man with a prick. And he certainly didn't use it to strangle her to death.
Such language. What are you trying to say?
That William isn't the only man in the city. It could have been anyone. And now we'll never find out.
I'm not saying it couldn't have been him. Though I don't think it was. It just seems foolish to only focus on him.
I suppose you're right. Let's forget it.
I managed to find Zdena.
By the sound of it, you didn't find her alive, did you?
No. Unfortunately, she's dead.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill she used to sell things at. Someone caught her in the forest when she was coming home with a load of coin and killed her. I reckon she put up a hell of a fight. So the killer got nervous and ended things quickly.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate her?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time, so I couldn't really tell. But he definitely didn't hack her up like the others. Zdena tried to rob young von Grolle. It's possible she succeeded.
Von Grolle? Yarka worked for them, didn't she?
Ah, that whole family is suspicious.
Assumptions. Nothing more.
I'd say it's pretty obvious. Why else would I have found that ring on her?
They just left the ring by her body? That's odd, isn't it?
It wasn't by her body. It was inside of it. I don't know if she swallowed it herself or someone shoved it in her.
Ah, that's awful. But I can't say it surprises me.
Judging by what her accomplice said, she robbed someone good. She had so much jewelry on her, she could hardly carry it. And what's odd is when she was murdered, the killer left her basket of valuables behind.
So I reckon he didn't kill her for the money.
She said someone followed her on horseback from Kuttenberg. She tried to lose him, but apparently wasn't able to.
On horseback? I don't suppose she described him, did she?
Only as a wealthy type who never got too close.
Ah, that doesn't fit in with the previous murders.
Father Prokop came looking for Zdena and nearly cursed her on the spot.
What did he have in common with a thief?
He had also looked after her, but unlike Yarka, she ended up on the street, and he took it badly. I managed to find Stanya.
Alive? You found her alive?
I did. Alive and well. Hiding with the charcoal burners.
So, she's not one of our victims?
She is. She just managed to escape the killer. She said she was attacked on her way home from the baths. She heard somebody talking in a side street, but it was empty. But when she walked by, someone grabbed her by the throat and started strangling her.
And how did she manage to get away?
She was holding an empty pitcher, and she smashed the killer in the face with it. He either got startled or hurt, but he let her go.
Did she get a look at him? Did she take his eye out or something?
No, she didn't stop to find out. Just ran. Which is probably why she survived.
And what about the blood in the bedroom?
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She didn't stay in her room for long. She was still so scared that she grabbed her things and ran off to her beloved charcoal burner. Besides that, she also recalled hearing two voices in the alley. Someone was talking to the killer.
So we have a witness. Now, just to find him.
Or an accomplice. If I remember correctly, the other one must have seen the whole thing, right? And he didn't go to report it.
According to Stanya, the murderer didn't say a word the entire time.
That's strange, right? I'd expect him to at least call her a whore.
The only word he uttered was when she smashed him in the face with the pitcher. He said Scheisse.
So, we're looking for a German?
Even I say Scheiße sometimes, and I'm not German.
She said she returned from the baths in the evening regularly, and somebody knew exactly which way she would take and where to wait for her.
You mean someone followed her beforehand to figure out where to ambush her?
Who knew that she went to the baths?
Apparently everyone in the tavern. She didn't hide the fact. She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. He may be a pig, but the evening she ran home, he was in bed snoring. Well, according to Stanya, the murderer had a terribly strong grip. Her neck was bruised for almost a month.
Doesn't almost every man have a strong grip?
Depending on what they take in hand every day. A tankard, a quill, or a hammer.
Except none of our suspects are miners or blacksmiths, eh? I asked Stanya if she knew Prokop. She said no.
Maybe she just doesn't remember him. Or he gave a different name, or...
I don't think Father Prokop is the type to frequent the worst tavern in Kuttenberg.
Stanya admitted that she knows William. He flirted with her and tried to get to know her better, but nothing came of it.
And that's probably why I wanted to kill her. And likely rape her before that.
Well, perhaps, but Stanya doesn't think so. She's sure it wasn't William, and no matter what they say about him, in her eyes he's a good lad. And that's all that Stanya told me.
I'm so glad that girl is alive.
Me too. At least someone's had a little luck. Does she want to come back, or will she stay with the charcoal burners?
I don't think she'll come back. She's so scared now they'll come back for her, she doesn't even leave the house. My mouth is starting to hurt from all this blabbering.
So are my ears and head.
Come now, we're nearly there. We just need to find our suspect. So, Henry, who do you think did it?
I suspect one of the Von Grollers.
What leads you to think that?
Are you sure it wasn't William?
Yarka was their maidservant until she started rebelling, right?
Yes. Do you think she was rebelling because of someone in particular?
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
Zdeno was followed by someone on a horse. Von Groller could afford a horse.
That's not so sure, is it? And maybe the horse was stolen or borrowed.
But it certainly worsens the case for him. That much is true.
Zdeno robbed Von Grolle.
That's true.
It's all coming together, isn't it?
Alice had a young and wealthy suitor. And young Von Groller fits both descriptions.
True.
We could be getting somewhere.
Yarka was pregnant. And if the father was young Von Groller, it would make sense if he got rid of her.
Sakura, you're right.
But William could have fucked her too. Just saying.
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that it was young Von Groll?
Well, old Von Groller can't do much now, can he?
So do we really agree that our most likely suspect is young Von Groller?
Aye. I agree.
I don't have a problem with it. Little rich boys are capable of anything. But what are we gonna do about it? Our suspicions aren't enough.
They'll just laugh at us without something more tangible.
So, you want to search their house?
There's nothing else we can do. There must be a clever way to do it.
We have to find some evidence. None of our conjecture is enough. What will we do?
You could sneak in there.
Or break in.
Catherine, that's not necessary. The young lad wants to learn swordsmanship, and the old one is sick and always calling for a physician.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbones, or a swordsman, or break in? That's a lot of options.
You're a clever lad. You'll figure it out.
Greetings.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm sorry. Take a good look at this man. A rebel against the laws of Can I help you?
Is this the house of the von Grolle family?
Yes?
I'm Henry of Skalitz. Master Menhard from Frankfurt sent me to train young Master Hendel in sword fighting.
I'm sorry, but I know nothing about it.
Are you telling me I'm not expected? The Master Swordsman won't be pleased.
No, this is surely my mistake. Please, come in. Go to the courtyard. You'll have more than enough room there. I'll send the young master to you immediately. Be with you, good sir.
Careful!
I must admit that I didn't expect anyone so soon. Master Menhard said I'd have to wait a while for my lessons.
Well, that's true. But we had an opening, and Master Menhard immediately thought of you.
But of course. That's good. It doesn't matter. I'm actually glad it turned out like it did. At least Mother will leave me alone for a while.
What do you mean?
She's always trying to keep me at home. Says I go out with girls too much. She'd rather have me praying all day and night like her.
Well, maybe a sword fighting lesson will help you.
Maybe. But first I want to see if you have anything to teach me. Ready?
I'm not. I've only got a sharp weapon.
Really? You wanted to draw iron right away. Well, I can lend you one. But next time, bring your own. Toter Mann! Ha! Yeah!
Well, I hope the young lord is assured he has much to learn from me.
Ah. Yes. Young Lord learned it the hard way.
And after a few lessons, you'll only get better.
I hope so. I know the basic steps, but lack the finesse. I admit.
Excellent. That's enough for today. But before I go, I'd like to ask you something. What type of weapon are you most interested in?
A sword, of course. It is fitting for someone of my standing.
And what about a cleaver? Or a hunting sword?
Pah! A cleaver is more fitting for some yokel or bandit. Or a butcher. And a hunting sword? My father used to have a beautiful one. I don't even know what happened to it. I wouldn't be ashamed of that one. But otherwise, they are for fat burghers and poor mercenaries.
And what about an axe? Have you ever held one?
No! Do you take me for a woodcutter?
Have you ever killed anybody?
What kind of question is that? Of course not.
I meant in battle.
How else could you have meant it?
Enough small talk. I want you to practice the basic posture. Nice and slow.
Yes, master.
Away. Quiet! Go away! Leave it! Shoot! Quiet! Go away!
What the hell? That's hair. All kinds of brown. I bet it belonged to those dead girls. If this isn't proof, nothing is.
Quiet! Go away! Damned mutt! It happens. Just watch where you're going next time.
I'm telling you, Conrad's been really cold.
Eat up, doggy.
I need to discuss that visit to the Von Grollers.
Excellent. Let's find Catherine. You can tell us everything.
I think we were right. Something seriously fishy there.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. What did you find out?
You found something there, didn't you? Evidence?
I certainly did. In the young lord's room.
What was it?
This. He had it in a chest in his room. Locks of hair. All brown, but all a bit different. They're definitely from those murdered girls.
Hair? But that's not enough. That definitely won't suffice as proof.
Why wouldn't it? He took them as a keepsake from the dead girls, as a trophy. It was him!
But nobody will believe us. We need more than just hair. A bloody dress or the murder weapon.
To be honest, I don't think we're going to find anything like that. They're pretty careful to cover their tracks.
Damn it. We're fucked. If we at least had a witness.
And what about 3 witnesses at once?
Where are you going to find 3 witnesses when you don't even have one?
I don't yet, but... Look, we're almost certain young Hendel did it. So what if we set a trap and catch him in the act?
And how do you want to do that? I mean, we don't know who he's planning to murder next.
We'll set someone up. Some brunette.
You want to sacrifice some poor girl?
No, nobody's gonna get hurt. We'll be keeping our eye on her the whole time.
The only one I can think of is Stanya. And I highly doubt that she'd want to risk her life again.
She won't have to. I'll do it.
But you haven't had anything to do with him. He'll see through it immediately. It'll fail.
We'll wait until the lad's out of the house. Maybe we'll dress Catherine up a bit, and she'll go asking for the young lord, father of her child. When Hendel comes home and hears what happened, he'll come looking for her to fix things up.
I'll cause such a scene, they'll be talking about it for years. Then we'll tell them where he can find me, and we've got him.
If you say so. But where can we do it? We can't do it here. They'd figure it out pretty quick.
We can use one of the rooms here in the tavern. It has only one way out. You'll be hiding across the way, and jump out at the right moment. I repeat, at the right moment.
Don't worry, we won't take our eyes off you.
Where's Hendel? I need to talk to him! Do you hear me? I have to talk to him about our wedding. I won't be left alone with his child.
What are you screeching about, you ninny? There's no Hendel here. Certainly not for the likes of you.
Do you hear that, folks? He fucks me from all sides. Gets me with child, and now he doesn't want to know me. Get rid of her. Disgrace. Oh, so a poor woman has to suffer because of a man's lust. As if it wasn't already bad enough before.
What lies are you spouting, you strumpet? Goodman Hendel never laid eyes on you. Besides, you're too old for him. Nobody will believe your lies.
Old am I? He came to me himself because he wanted a mature woman to breed with. And he never even pulled it out. And he filled me up like a wineskin. Suit yourself. I'll give you some time to think it over. But either you come up with an offer of marriage by evening, or first thing in the morning I'll go to the bailiff. And I'll be damn sure to get justice from him.
It's open.
I've come to talk with you.
Where's Hendel?
Hendel? You wanton whore! Debauching my son! A nanny goat like you! The others were at least young, but you! Oh, Christ, the trials I have to endure! A husband with both feet in the grave and a son who'll fuck anything with a hole in it. Slice her up so no one will recognize her, and in case what she says is true, gut her too.
Gutting, is it? I can help you with that.
Get that bitch, you fool!
Show you!
Before I finish you off, I have to ask, why the fuck did you kill them?
I'll tell you, but you aren't going to like it.
I'm listening.
Because it's the right thing to do.
What's right about murder?
All those whores had it coming.
Confess then. How many of them did you kill altogether?
Not enough! There's always more who deserve it. They climb out of their holes like rats and infect respectable families. Just like that companion of yours. She certainly sins as much as she breathes, the lured whore.
Oh, you're completely mad. My God.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain. It's a deadly sin.
Then I suppose we'll be meeting in hell one day. It was all Mandalina's idea, wasn't it? She wanted them killed.
And can you blame her? That first harlot was already itching to become Mistress von Grole. That bastard of hers wasn't Hendel's anyway, but he was stupid that time. He'd have believed her. Now he knows very well, luckily, that they're all whores. He doesn't cry for them anymore.
And Mandalina just came to you like that, out of the blue. And you immediately obeyed her?
Well, one time she came to my chambers and she told me she knew very well that Yarka rejected me and that she'd started an affair with Master Hendel, while she was also spreading her legs for others in the evenings. And that she had to be punished before she brought misfortune on someone. And...
Go on. I'm listening.
That she deserved to die for all her sins! And she was right!
You know that's not true. Stanya hardly knew Hendel, and you still tried to kill her. How many of the others had the same story?
Rubbish. I saw it with my own two eyes, and not just me. He might have met the alehouse wench by chance, but they were intimate together. The mistress was convinced they were meeting in the evenings.
Well, she might have been convinced, but that doesn't mean she was right. That girl had a sweetheart.
That's even worse. He surely wasn't a rich and important person like Master Hendel, and she would even cheat on our master with him? Disgusting.
Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. I'll hand you over to the city law.
I'm not worried, I'll have you know. My conscience is clear. They were all nobodies anyways. The bailiff should thank me for cleansing his city of them.
Shut your mouth already. Don't make me regret my decision.
No,
Catherine, wait.
What should I wait for? I'm gonna cut that bitch's throat.
How dare you? Hands off, you heretical scum!
Shut up.
Let her speak. I still don't understand what actually went on here. I have some questions for you.
I'll tell you nothing, you serpent. Nothing. You can't keep me here. Let me go. I'm a woman of worth.
If you won't speak now, then the executioner will loosen your tongue when your feet start burning. But why wait, right? I'll cut your ear off. Maybe both of them. All you need to talk is a tongue.
No! Let me go!
Why did you do it, for Christ's sake?
Don't blaspheme, you heathen.
Come on, answer him or it's gonna hurt.
My husband, he drank a lot, ran around with whores and didn't pray enough. And God punished him for it. I couldn't allow the same thing to happen to Hendel.
And why kill those girls? Why not just talk to him about it?
I tried, but he wouldn't listen to me. He told me he wanted to sow his wild oats before finding a wife.
So your own son didn't listen to you? And you started killing the girls
who seduced him and emboldened him with their brazenness? If they wanted to whore themselves out, they'll pay for it in hell. But there's no way they were going to drag my Hendel there with them.
And what about Hendel? Did he know what you were doing?
That I was taking care of his immortal soul and eliminating his temptation? Of course not. But one day he'll be grateful to me for it.
He's going to jump for joy. His mother a mad woman, and his servant a murderer.
Speak politely to me, you whore.
Henry, if you have any more questions, you'd better ask them quickly. I'm sorely tempted to finish this here and now.
Do you realise you also killed girls who had nothing to do with Hendel?
That's not possible. I saw them all with my own 2 eyes, chatting with him and giggling.
And what about that alehouse wench?
That strumpet. I saw how she treated him. It's a damned shame she got away.
But she really had nothing to do with Hendel.
She wouldn't have smiled at him the way she did if she didn't want to fornicate with him. They all deserved it. Every single one. And better sooner than later. That trollop in our service even got herself with child. And she wanted to keep it. The slut.
And what about Zdenna? All she did was rob him, and you killed her anyway.
She fawned over him like all the others. He even gave her a ring, which she probably sold immediately. She deserved it. She was a thief, and stealing is a mortal sin.
And what about the hair in Hendel's chest? You're trying to tell me he wasn't involved, but he was keeping their hair?
Well, he kept asking about those whores of his, so we always brought him a lock of hair. We told him it was from them, as a parting gift.
Well, he didn't find that strange?
Out of sight, out of mind. He always found some new harlot anyway.
There was no blood where Alice was found. Where did you kill them?
That was up to Thaddeus. He told me something about an abandoned barn. I only told him to cut them up thoroughly.
Why?
Why? As a warning. So those whores knew what awaited them. To put the fear of God in them.
I'd better stop asking questions.
Burn in hell! All of you!
What'll we do with her now?
Let's take her to the bailiff. She'll get justice there.
We don't have to go anywhere. I'll give her justice right here, right now.
But we can't do that. She has to go before the court. The law must be upheld.
Did you hear her? I mean, she hasn't got her head on straight. And what judgment will there be? She's from a wealthy family. Nothing will happen to her.
Don't you dare judge me. Only God can do that.
Shut your mouth, you sow. You judged and punished some random girls, and now you'll blaspheme like that?
Our Lord directed me. I did it through His will.
Do you hear that? And you want to let her live?
But that's not justice. It's murder. Henry, won't you say something?
I told you, don't you dare judge me. I am a servant of God.
Put away that knife, Catherine. We'll hand her over to the law.
Don't tell me you'd let her get away with it.
She's not going to get away with anything. She killed so many people. If she's lucky, they'll just hang her. If not, she'll be buried alive.
That's right. We caught her in the act, and she's confessed to us. They can't just let her go.
Of course they can. It's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You'll see that all these rich burgher and lords have their own justice.
That won't happen. I guarantee you she...
You can't guarantee a thing. You're not the bailiff and you won't be judging her.
She's right, though. We can't just let her out into the streets. She must be punished. And if not, then you can always go and pay her a visit, right? You know very well who she is.
All right then, you last of the righteous. Take that viper away and may God protect you if they set her free.
Don't worry. I'll take her away.
Well, this was a lot stranger than I expected. Do you think we did the right thing?
I'm not sure of anything anymore. Not even myself. Can we just be quiet for a while?
Why? You don't feel remorse, do you?
Not remorse, but doubts.
Doubts? You?
Show me a person without doubts, and I'll show you a liar.
I suppose you're right. What will we do now?
I'd go and see Lumia. I'm curious how he fared.
Tell us, Lumir. How did it turn out?
Did it end well? Oh, we're not going to get into trouble now, are we?
It ended well, and I didn't even tell anyone about you.
I'm surprised it worked out. Both of them must have been lying through their teeth.
Well, if it came to it, I would have had to bring you both in as witnesses. But fortune smiled upon us.
They didn't admit to it, did they?
Sort of. The servant shouted that he was forced into it by Mandalina. And Mandalina completely lost her mind and started screaming that it was the right thing to do. And anyone in her place would have done the same.
My God!
Oh, if she had an ounce of sense, she would never have started murdering. What'll happen to them now?
Thaddeus will hang. No doubt about that. And Mandalina, right now she's locked up. We'll see what happens to her.
I knew it!
She'll be punished, and not hurt anyone else. That's enough for me.
And what will you do, Catherine? Will you stay here?
My work isn't done yet. I have to work in the tavern here, and then we'll see. Maybe I'll find work elsewhere.
And what will you do now? Will you go back to the town hall, Lumir?
It's true I've made amends in the eyes of the law, but I probably won't go back now. Maybe better to write something about it. Who knows?
Won't you go back to drinking?
No, it didn't help anything, did it? If I had just persevered instead, I should have pitied those girls, and not myself.
Don't fret. It was a terrible mess, and all three of us had to put our heads together.
Yes. You helped me when I was in need, and didn't even know it. Maybe I'll just keep helping as long as I can.
Helping others is the best thing a person can do in this world.
Do you think we could have done better?
Everything can always be done better, but most important is to do it well and quickly.
Catherine is right. I'll still be kicking myself. Maybe to my dying day. But none of us did anything bad.
That's not entirely true.
I'm talking about innocent people. No more girls died because of you. And that's good.
Well, let's go our separate ways.
Thank you, lad. You prevented future murders. And you also saved me. And for that, I will be eternally grateful.
I thank you both. Without you, the devil knows how it would have turned out.
Here you are, as a keepsake. And perhaps as a reward. And if you ever pass by, look us up.
Yes, here is a reward, Henry. And Lumiere, we shall certainly meet again.